Sure. So before we begin,
Yeah.
first and foremost, hi Mamta, love to
Hi.
welcome you.
Thank you.
For those of you tuning in first time to our Thrive channel, I'm Pinky Daga. I'm CEO for Thrive. And today I'd like to welcome with me for a talk on soulmates, which I know is such a favorite for everyone, and relationships in general, also live readings, is one of our most popular readers on the site, Mamta
Yeah.
Rohira. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Rohira, right?
It's Rohera. Yeah.
No. Right.
Yeah.
So Mamta has been practicing tarot for the past 22 years. Sorry, since
Oh,
she
no.
was 22.
Since I was 22.
Since you were 22.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
She's a
about
born
like.
psychic, very, very gifted, very knowledgeable, and has seen many different aspects of relationships, soulmates through her clients. And she's here today not only just to give us live readings, but also to shed light on this whole topic, which is sometimes very much shrouded in mystery. So, hi Mamta,
Hi.
how are you
I'm
doing
glad to
today?
be here. Thank you so much for this
No.
because I feel like Thrive is doing a great job with unraveling all the mysteries around spirituality. I feel like it's such an easy medium for people to connect with because the whole world of spirituality is so full of different modalities or different things.
Yeah,
And for a layman, it's very difficult to understand the difference between, say, okay, they may know the difference between feng shui and crystals, but the difference between twin flames and soulmates.
correct. I
You
mean,
know,
everything, and the truth is, I feel what I'm personally very passionate about is that when you talk about wellness cannot be just one aspect isolated, just
absolutely.
like your body or your diet or your fitness or any kind of physical ailment you have. It has to it's integrated, comes together when your mind, body, soul.
Absolutely. And soul is the most important.
Soul is the most important, and sometimes the soul just needs guidance.
Hmm.
And to be very quite frank, being a tarot reader myself, I love the guidance of the tarot. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that like we were speaking earlier,
Yeah.
tarot is sometimes just it's like therapy. it's
Yeah,
uh, it
totally.
reveals so much about yourself, and that's what you need to focus on, your soul journey, where your blockages are, and
Yeah.
that's what you really need to focus on to truly evolve and truly attract the things you want in your life.
I agree. I agree completely.
Yeah.
Because also, I feel like it's not only the cards, but the placement of the cards in a spread.
Right.
Because the cards are like 72 or there are different packs. So it's not like, a one fixed way of looking at it. But where the card is, so for relationships, also, usually people say that, oh, the lover's card has come. That means, it's going to be okay with my current partner. But
Right.
that would not be the case because the position where it's come, it could actually be saying that that is the area that needs maximum work. That
Correct.
you need to let go of something, or you need to work more, or like get a fresh perspective. So it's not only about the cards; it's also about where they come. And I feel like each person's um, like how we have birth charts where everybody's is unique, like that even the tarot picks up on an individual's energy. So for me as a person, I've been asked many times by newspapers and magazines to do columns because
Yeah.
without taking names, a lot of the people who work at those publications are my clients.
Correct.
And I don't think I would be true to what I am doing if I gave a generic 12 based on sun signs kind of tarot prediction.
Right. No,
I
no,
can't
no.
do it.
It's so
I
interesting.
can't do it.
I think the tarot picks up on the vibration so well.
Yeah.
And
I-
like you said, based upon the spread, you
yeah.
know.
It's based on the spread, and also it's based on what your energy is. So today,
Correct. Yeah.
when you suppose like you're a tarot reader yourself, and I can't do readings for myself. So
No, no tarot reader can do readings for themselves, Mamta.
exactly. So when I go to other people, I'm like, oh, okay, now this makes sense because of course I'm experiencing my life, but when I open my own cards, it never shows like that.
Right, exactly.
And that's the whole mystery of divinity, right? That
Right.
we are supposed to have veils for ourselves. Like in Hindi, they say, just हकीम के पास शफा होती है, उसके घर में सबसे ज्यादा बीमारियां होती है.
Right,
So
exactly.
the healer is meant to give, to
Yeah,
for service, not for himself. Otherwise,
absolutely.
he would be
Yeah.
like fit and fine and doing everything that they want in life.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. So let's talk about soulmates. Yeah,
Okay.
little bit before we get into little specifics. Um, what are soulmates and how do they appear? What are the certain signs in our life that tells us, oh, this is a soulmate or this is just somebody, in our life? Break that down for us, because that's a very it's a topic where what I feel is that people just say soulmates very casually these days.
Yeah. As much as they say it casually, I don't think they realize the implication of what they're really saying.
Yeah.
Because, so my belief system is such that every person who comes into our life, be it somebody who's working with us, a colleague, somebody who's, of course, our family and partners and that, all that, of course, but even somebody who we think is really casual and non-important in our life. Like, for example, a taxi driver.
Right.
Right? Like a taxi driver is just taking you from point A to point B. But there has to be something in the invisible world that has brought exactly that person and his taxi to you to go travel that distance together.
Right.
We may not understand these things, and it's best that we don't, because otherwise we'll be sitting and doing our karmic balance sheets here, which is not our work.
Right.
Our work is just to live. So I truly feel like each person in our life is predestined, and each person has a specific purpose. So I feel like, for instance, everybody at Thriive, their purpose is to bring together people who are seeking, and the people who are in a position to help.
Correct.
And a bridge. Yes. So right from where you are to the rest of the team, and I know them very well from our association from last year. So, everybody is part of that bridge. Right. Now, of course, like, as their time gets over, they will be replaced and so on and so forth. But for me, I see them as a complete bridge for me as a therapist. So when I think of soulmates, I also look at it like that. Like, each friend in my life, each relationship has come to make me grow a little. Right. Soulmates does not mean it's rosy and it's going to be easy and it's all about like champagne and lovely nights here and there. It's not that. Right. In fact, those are the most more harder relationships. They're the ones that really hurt you, the ones that take the peace away, that they drain you. They take the peace, like literally you have sleepless nights, you don't feel like eating, because their work is that. Their work, that dynamic is supposed to be like that when we feel unrest in our heart space, we are forced to look inside and say, okay, now what? What is this teaching me? How am I supposed to go from here? And through that unrest, through every sleepless night that you have because of a breakup, you grow a little. Through every sleepless night that you have before you decide if you want to get divorced, there's growth. Yeah. So I always say that do not think of pain and chaos as bad things or negative things, because they are actually helping you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, and lots of times, even families, right? Now in India, I think we've had this concept of, which is beautiful as a culture and as everything is beautiful, that we're supposed to be completely blind to our parents' faults. You know what I mean? We are blind to them because
we are the last generation. No more this generation.
I'm glad because, I think it stunts you from so much growth. Yeah. It stunts you from exploring because you are conditioning. You're not living your life. And I think now we are opening up to, and it's not that they are bad people. That's just how it's meant to be. Yeah. So if those problems are fixable and they are aware of fixing those problems, great. But even those relationships are very important because they are the ones that form our identity. And if we have a veil on our eyes which says, no, there cannot be a father better than mine. Each daughter will feel like that. Each son will feel like that. But when you grow up and you're in your 30s and you can see them for people, for individuals, you will realize that I don't think I want to do this with my child. And when you realize that is when there is growth.
Right.
Is when you realize that soul did its job of bringing you into the world, raising you, loving you unconditionally, all that, but also taught you a very important lesson of what not to do. So soulmates cannot just be romantic, easygoing relationships. Also, in current times,
But
where modern,
are not necessarily only romantic, right? I mean, you can
not,
have friends,
not,
family, everyone
yeah.
can be a soulmate, right?
I look at it, Pinky, honestly, as not soulmate is very limited as a word for me. I look at it as soul family.
Correct.
Because each person is playing their role.
Right.
Now I have so many friends of mine who are closer than my blood cousins.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That doesn't make them just friends. That makes them family. That makes them people I would give my kidney to.
Right. Totally.
That kind of thing. Yeah. So we are all. I look at it more broadly like that. I cannot limit it to that. And also at work. So one thing I was getting to was modern day relationships.
Yeah.
Very interesting because, of course, I experienced it personally. So I have a little bit of a bias, but I also see people my age, older, this, that. And there's an attraction which happens with like to like and which happens with contrast. So somebody who doesn't like the same things is also very attractive. Now, when people are confused about, this person is fitting into the box, into the things that I like. So this has to be an easy ride. And that person is not fitting into the box. That person has so many different things going on. So, but I'm attracted to both. So what do I do? And that's when I really ask people to not commit and to take it for what it is, to finish your learnings, because both have been presented to you for not for their purpose. There you have to become objective. You have to be like more one dimensional and say, okay, both these things are happening. Do I want this? Do I want that? Or actually, do I don't want either of them?
Right.
And there has to be a third kind, but you will not know till you don't explore.
Right.
So it's very important.
In situations like this, Mamta, how can the tarot help you? So what does the tarot at this stage? You have a situation like this.
Yeah.
So and you don't know, is someone your soulmate? Is someone just you're playing out some karma with someone?
Yeah. That also happens.
That also happens. Some romantic mates just come out of the blue. Could even be twin flames, right? So how can the tarot or a tarot reading at that point in time help you to decide, discern, guide you in the right way?
So there is a very specific spread which shows us about person 1, person 2, and the outcome. So both the people's internal and external influences are, so there are like 2 cards for each, and then there are 3 cards for the outcome. So it's a total 7 card reading. In that, sometimes I also do a 5 card reading depending on how simple the issue is. If it's more complicated, we need 7. If it can be simplified, it's in 5. So basically, that shows you what the dynamic is between both, and where is each one coming from. So somebody may be coming from a space of suppression, and another person may be coming from a space of healing. So naturally, these things will have there's a tendency for them to overlap. That's just how energy is. We cannot argue that. There's no explanation that I have come across that makes sense, but this is just what's meant to be. Now, how long is where the outcome comes.
Right.
And how much of each one is necessary, because sometimes we consider people in the romantic space in modern day dating, and when they do a tarot reading and they have more clarity, I have often heard my clients say, so, I understand what you're saying, Mamta. Is it all right? Like, do you think that we can just be friends? Because I don't think I want to be that invested, or
Right.
I don't think that this is going to go where I wanted it to go. So, will you be okay if we're just friends?
Correct.
And that is growth. That is changing perspective. That is saying that, okay, fine, without hurting anybody, without hurting yourself, this is giving you a chance to make a bond and let it be very organic in nature. There's no like conditioned ki nahi, this has to turn into a marriage or something like that.
Correct, correct, absolutely. Now,
So yeah.
tell me, there are stages and times when people are feeling lonely. Now, whether it be for a romantic partner, whether it be for some friends, whether it be anything, and they're looking for people who are part of their soul tribe, right? So it could be a romantic partner or it could be anyone. How can the tarot help you find that or give you a kind of an indication? What block do you have that you are sensing this around you,
That is exactly what it is. The tarot can definitely help you understand as to what is the weight of that relationship.
Right.
Because, like I
No,
said, the
I'm saying that let's say there's no relationship,
okay.
you're looking, right? I mean, you don't
Yes.
have anyone in your life,
Oh,
you're looking, you're
oh,
feeling
oh,
lonely.
like that.
Now,
Sorry.
whether if
Sorry.
it's for friends or whether it's for a romantic partner, whatever it may
Yeah.
be, but you're
Yeah.
looking, you feel lonely, you feel, oh, where are my people, where is my soul tribe? So,
Yeah.
in those cases, how can a tarot reading help us?
So usually this is what has happened is that the tarot will tell you what you're blocking for yourself.
Right.
It could be things that a lot of times my clients, and I can say that even personally, things that I didn't want to acknowledge about myself, which come to the fore, because literally the cards are like, they are like mirrors to our innermost self.
Correct. They're totally mirrors. Yeah.
They will show you exactly what we don't want to see. They are not the mirrors that tell you, hey, you're looking so pretty today. No, they are the mirrors that say, this is what needs work. This is where you need to really look inside. And often when people are lonely and seeking, I have noticed that it comes from a space of course, it could be part of their soul journey,
Right.
and that's also okay, because even that is it's like a level that you got to cross.
Of course. Yeah.
Right? But a lot of times it comes from trauma, it comes from neglect, from suppression, from deep depression of a past relationship where you haven't really let go of the fact that your heart was broken. Now, the heart, I am a firm believer of Sufism, and I feel every time I fall in love, which is very often, my heart breaks a little, and automatically it repairs. And I stopped asking for it to stop breaking. I don't want to be cold hearted. I'm not saying that this is what everybody should do. I am saying that since I have done this, I realize that there is so much to learn, to grow from that break and repair. But I know lots of my clients are very against the idea even of a relationship, because they have lack of trust, they have abandonment issues, they do not consider themselves worthy enough, they feel like they will it's like a victim mentality which has so many layers and sub layers to it.
Yeah.
And most often than not, unfortunately, in India, in our culture, unfortunately, it goes right back into our childhood. So the healing needs to happen on that level.
Right.
And that too, the tarot really helps with. Because, I mean, I know.
Show you where you need to work. I think,
Yeah.
it can, I mean, there's so many different layers, right? But I think the tarot, what it does is it really shows you the area which you really need to focus on and work. And then you can seek the right kind of help or work
Yeah.
on it yourself. But,
Yeah,
then what to do, what's the next step.
Eventually, of late, I've also in the lockdown, because I had a lot of people who were going through intense loneliness,
Yeah.
like intense feelings of like nobody cares for them, and nobody's calling to check on them because they have been single for whatever reason.
Right.
uh, this was my advice to them, and I applied it to my life too, is that really sit with yourself. Really sit with yourself and have that conversation with yourself like you would have with a friend, saying, what is the problem? Really just go deep inside, because okay, I as a healer, and you may know this very well also, you will have 20 types of healers working on 20 different areas of your life. As a person who needs healing, he will be open to that uh, process. But in spite of those things working right up to 99%, 1% has to be from inside. And that point of self healing is the most important, because that's what shuts it all. That's
Correct.
what begins it also, and that's what shuts it also. In the
Right.
middle, it could be anything. You
Yeah.
could take this journey on your own. You could have help at different stages, but till you do not commit to yourself, do not expect somebody else to commit to you, be it a parent, be it a sibling, be it anybody. You have to commit to yourself.
Right. Right.
And yeah, and I see that even with kids. I work with a lot of kids who have, um, unfortunately, they do have certain uh,
Issues.
physical issues.
Right.
Physical issues. So basically, they're either born with different abilities, or they have some sort of, mishaps that happen during their birth or something like that. Now, these kids, they fascinate me, because in spite of having an issue for a normal person, where the person would be like, oh God, I can't hear, like my life is over. I can't hear. How do I live? But
Yeah.
this guy is like, I have 5 girls who are behind me, and I'm like, how do you communicate with them? Like, how do you do it? And he's like, I told them to go and learn sign language. And I was just so impressed. I said, you know what? This is courage. So
That's
that guy is, I mean, conventionally, if we look at it, he is somebody who's destined, in our stupid way of looking, for a life of misery, for a life of no fun, of probably not finding a partner, or finding a partner who probably can't speak,
right.
because that's what we think, कि उसको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है तो उसको कोई बोलने वाली ही नहीं देते हैं, like let him,
Right.
that's the best thing. But he has decided to overcome that. And I was really impressed when he told me that.
That's
And
super impressive. Yeah, that
it's
is.
very, very cool. And I said, so what made you think? So he used to come to me as a child also. And that time we were working on different areas in his life. He's like, when I was young and I was going through these issues in school where people were not understanding, you told me that you got to decide if you want to fit in. You cannot fit into their world, but you have to make them fit into your world. And that's what I see even with relationships. We are so close sometimes. Oh, he's a meat eater. I don't want to be going on a date with a meat eater. He is eating meat. What do you have to do? If everything else is fitting, we're very rigid. As people, we become more rigid with time.
Yeah.
And that rigidity, unfortunately, it's so superficial. Because in spite of that rigidity, it doesn't take us a minute to slip into bed with somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a very fine balance. So even in relationships, a lot of times it's lust driven, a lot of times it's karmic driven, soul driven, and
So,
it's
Mamta, here I would just like to ask, and interesting, I think a lot of people would love to know your views on this, is when it's soul driven, like you said, and it is a soul connection. What are the typical signs? I mean, how does one know? Oh yeah, this is a
uh,
soul. I mean, I say it casually, but how do
yeah,
you?
yeah. So no, I'm smiling because it feels fantastic,
Yeah,
but it also has that much pain. So it may be somebody who are people from different castes. It could be somebody who's married. It could be somebody who's attached or already, spoken for. It could be somebody from a different city.
yeah,
So meet bam, the chemistry is wow. You just want to spend the rest of your life with this person. But the minute there's distance, the dynamic changes because there's work to be done.
Right.
Similarly, with the intercaste thing, there's work to be done. With the married thing, there's work to be done. So a soul-driven thing really demands you to be upping your game every time, and not that it means that um, it has to end up in a conventional relationship.
Right. Or it doesn't mean, I mean, some can work out also, right? It doesn't
Some,
mean it has
of course, some can. I'm just saying that it doesn't, just because you've had to do the work doesn't mean that it's going to give you the results.
right.
Because it could be that that work that you had to do is more for you, which you would not do if you didn't have a catalyst.
Right.
It's like when we want to make something to ferment it, we have to put some acidic thing.
Right. Right.
Until that acid doesn't go in, your food is going to be non-fermented.
Right. Right.
So it's like that. And I think with soul connections, it's very important if you feel it right in your heart. There is, Rumi also says this, you can spend a lifetime eternity in a minute. So getting that out of that is more important than imagining कि नहीं, I have worked for this for so many years, so I have to get married to this person.
No, it can be a non-conventional relationship as well.
And that non-conventional doesn't even have to, it could go anyway. It could go anyway. It could just turn into somebody who is a really dear special, holds a special place in your heart, who is a dear friend, who's a confidant because they know you better than anybody else.
And they can understand you. You speak the same language.
Exactly. You don't have to spend time translating your soul, like they say. There's so many quotes, like be with somebody who you don't have to spend time translating. Lifetime translating your soul. That's super. But that doesn't have to fit into any kind of a box.
Right.
So I think with soul connections, you have to, it's literally, if I put it very basically, it's like being at a buffet.
Right.
Take what you want and that's about it. Like make the best of your meal.
Right.
You can't, it's not an experience where you can choose your toppings. No, This is what you've got. If you like it so much, work on it, work through it, and leave the rest to. Also, a lot of times, because people have done work, they refuse to accept, and then they want to go into areas which are not, in my opinion, which are not okay, which are gray areas, where they will like to go to people to do pujas and black magic to get that person and things like that. Please do not do that, because you are adding years of sanskaras, years of karma, which is not worth it.
Not worth it. Not worth it. If it's meant to be, then that will just be.
Yeah, and whatever you have got, accept it with grace and dignity and leave it. Do not fall into the trap of people who give you even, and okay, there are meditations that you can. So suppose you like somebody who's in your social circle,
right?
But you're not really friends with that person,
right?
But you want to build on that connection.
Right.
If you yourself sit down with a candle, with an intent on a new moon night, go through a practice, depending on what it is, that may still have an effect, as opposed to going to some random Pandit and Baba who will say, "Main karwa dunga."
No.
That's wrong.
And it can have a lot of repercussions then later on. I think that we are moving away from our true soul path then.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, what have we been taught? Like, religion is part of spirituality. Every religion in the world has taught us one basic principle, which is to be happy with your lot. Then when we go to school, we learn another set of manners, which is don't look into another person's plate, another person's house. Do not have greed, envy, lust, all that jazz. So it's just like that. Simplify your life. If it's not meant to be yours, why are you snatching it? we teach children, right? Don't snatch, share. If it's, you can't share a husband. So you have to find that thing. And I think tarot is something that has helped people around the world with so many issues.
Yes.
But the biggest
Lot of guidance. Lots
yeah,
of guidance.
the biggest gift it can do is make you look inside.
Yeah. So I'm going to take some questions and some, maybe we can do some quick readings for
Sure,
people.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So let me see now. Okay. So guys, any questions for Mamta?
There is a thing can
Okay.
on.
Okay. Somebody, everyone who wants a number, we're going to do a screen at the end. And you can you will share our link at the end so you can connect with her. Okay, so go ahead and ask. Somebody is asking, Sia is asking when they've been married for 3 years and when will they become parents?
Okay, have they mentioned their date of birth? Because Sia, I would need
Sia
that.
hasn't. Sia, if you're online, can you please mention your date of birth?
Also, coming to this, I would like to say, Sia, till if she comes back or for everybody else, um, parenthood is also very interesting. A lot of people want to be parents out of ego. Mera bacha. For in any aspect, if you are not able to conceive in life, please go and adopt. If you really want to be a pet, your blood, your cells are not extra special. Like, who are you? Who is anybody for that matter? If you want to be a mother, you can go and adopt. You don't have to have your own child. Instead of going through that process of IVF or, troubling your hormones, troubling your mind, troubling everything around and feeling failure, this will give you much more back. I don't know why that has come up for Sia. I hope that you can conceive, but if you can't, then you know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I agree. I completely agree. Okay. Let me see. Thrive team, whoever's on the viewer, can you show me the questions, please? I can't see all of them.
So is Mamta Segal online? Because she's asking, can we ask another question?
Okay. I have one from a girl called Prachita. My parents are looking to sell the house and staying. They have got offers, but very low. When will the house get sold and at a good price? Will they come and stay in my building?
Oh, will they come and stay in your building? Okay. Uh, can she give me her date of birth by any chance?
Prachita, can you give date of birth? Anyone asking questions, please give your date of birth.
Mala Punwani, I need your date of birth also.
You can see the
So
question, Mamta. I'm
I
able to
can.
see only one area.
I can. So Danica Harya is asking, when you say accept with grace, if the relationship is causing you immense pain and hurt, how do we work with acceptance? Um, Danica, how important is it to stay in the relationship? Is it like going to cost you your life if you leave? Can you survive without the relationship? Because for a long time, people who were unable to, especially women, who were unable to be independent, they stayed on with abusive relationships or things like that. So you need to take stock of that first. What is the safety? If it's going to look like it's a hard road, but you will but it's a challenge, I would say take that challenge, because you're doing your soul a favor by reinstating its own power. You're empowering yourself, you're taking on a new challenge. Yes, life may look different, but
Yeah, that's the way it is. So,
yeah,
shall we answer Prachita's question? The
yeah,
one
sure.
you need the date of birth, or can you do it, Mamta, without that?
I will just check. I'll check for Prachita. Oh, this is interesting. So, Prachita, there are three cards that have come, which is this is the first card. this is telling me that things are really bad right now, and I can see how uncomfortable the situation is. Also, your asking price, if you brought it down a little bit, because this card denotes getting money, it means that you will have the gains. Now, if you're going to be, again, it's a very, I can't answer it generically like that because I would like to know more before I give you a specific answer. But if you're going to be stuck on getting a price and not moving by 3 lakhs or some 2 lakhs, or a amount which could make sure the sale happens, then it's not okay on your part to do that, because if you really want this sold, then don't be like attached to how much you get. Look at the bigger issue. Don't look at the finer details in this situation. And the third card is the Lover's card, which is a possibility that they will move closer to a couple. Prachita, I am assuming that you are married and hence you want them to move close to you in your building. So yeah, I don't even know if she's still online. Is she there?
I'm not sure, but anyway, we can move on to the next question. Thank you for your
Yeah.
answer, Mamta. There's one that says, my daughter Ritika Jagyasi has reapplied for permanent residency visa. Will she get it this month? Her date of birth is 19th August 1993.
Has she
And
mentioned which country?
India or Canada? I think she means, will she get a
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, she's also asking when will she get her soulmate. For all of you who want more detailed personal readings, on the chat, they're just going to share the link that will connect you directly to Mamta. Thriive team, can you please share that a link, please?
Okay, so these are your 3 cards, and it says that it's not going to happen anytime soon. I would say your PR may come in the next 4 months. About, it's not immediate. So be patient, wait it up your skill set if you're looking for something in Canada, because that's what they really look for. So make yourself an asset and not a liability before moving to any other country.
Right. Thank you. Um, okay. Anybody who's asking questions, Thomas, you just asked one. Can you please put your birth date also? Somebody just asked about a divorce. Can you go back to that? Chat में ऊपर.
Divorce.
Okay, and Savita Doshi has asked a very interesting question, Mamta. See, she's
Yeah.
asked, based on the energy, can the same question, can you be giving a different answer the next day? Can the answer change?
That's a very interesting question, and this has a very subjective answer,
Yeah.
because it. I do not think that the energy will change the next day for the same situation. I
Right.
would say at least one moon cycle, which means a whole month, till the energy changes.
Right.
We are not talking about, and because that energy will change, you will change, the opposite person will change, circumstances will change, something will have happened.
Yeah.
So you will have a different outcome.
Correct.
But for the same question, if you're doing readings every day,
Yeah.
it's not really advisable, because it's a waste of time, honestly.
Right.
I don't see why somebody would do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Thomas's date of birth is 22/11/1996. But what was Thomas's question?
He's looking for a job, I read.
Yeah. Neha, please scroll to the questions. Thomas Alex's question, please.
95. And okay, Thomas, we got that. No. Thomas is asking, when will I be in a relationship? I don't have much of friends of girl. And I think I read something else also. I'm not getting a job. Okay, Thomas, instantly what's coming up for you without me opening the cards is that you are truly in a time of when we have nothing, our hands are empty. And those hands at that time are used to build. So use this time. If you don't have a job, if you don't have a girlfriend, life is not feeling good. This is where you really start building yourself. Do not feel empty. In fact, feel blessed that it's not filled with something that you don't want. And I will also check the cards for that. But usually, I've noticed this with a lot of people when things are not going good, it's natural to be depressed, but you have to find the peace. Oh, interesting. Thomas, these are your cards. One says trust, the other one is understanding, and the third one is turning in. Now, you don't trust yourself enough, and I don't think you even know yourself enough. So when the turning in card comes, if you see what she's doing, see the picture. It's of a woman who's sitting in meditation, and when you see around her, there is a lot of shadows. These are the demons of our mind. So you're feeling depressed, I get it, but please sit down with yourself. Make a list of what you want, what are your goals, how are you going to take it forward. And I am sure that since you want a definite, oh wow, love is coming, Thomas. But you need to pray. You don't pray enough, you don't have enough faith. So pray, spend time with yourself, and I think you should write into us telling us that life is better soon.
Right. Thank you. Somebody also asked another interesting question. I mean, if I'm married, does it mean it's a soulmate? You can answer that one.
So when you're married, it does mean that, again, like I said, it will not, if the marriage is not what you imagined it to be, which again is a cultural conditioning of, um, novels and movies, ki it's beautiful and the guy gets you gifts and you cook meals and everything is hunky dory. If it's not that and you're still married and there is no real reason for you to even leave the marriage, but it just doesn't feel good, I feel like there again is a chance for you to use that bond to grow together. Because if you're not feeling good, I'm sure even he's not feeling good. We are mirrors in any relationship with our siblings, especially with partners. The mirror impact effect is more. So sit down, have a conversation with him, explore yourself, see if there's something that maybe you could work on to give you happiness. You're also conditioned to invest every emotion of yours in this because I'm married, so I can't paint, or I can't go for a trek. That's stupidity. Then you can't blame the marriage. It's your conditioning.
Correct.
And soulmate, definitely, if you're married, you're in it. So he's part of your soul family. He will help you grow, and you will help him grow. Look at it with a fresh perspective. Don't feel so cynical about it. It's not that bad. It really can't be that bad.
Right. Okay. Couple of more, I think, before we end the session. My date of birth is.
Sorry, one sec. Pinky, I want to take this question.
Sure. Go ahead.
From Priya.
I'm seeing 3 different screens because they're giving it to me from all the different live feeds. So we're on 3 platforms right now. So, but you go ahead and check the Zoom one.
Yeah, so Priya is saying, I want to know about a guy I'm interested in. He was supposed to leave his GF to be with me, but he has still not cut ties with the other girl. Please tell me about his feelings for me and the other girl. Also, if we will come back, as we are not talking right now. Priya, I am opening cards for you, but I have something to tell you on this. It's brought on a very important thing. I'm sorry, but This is what it shows. He's complacent. He is probably not even in the same city as you are. And this last one, can you see how the lion is bound like a sheep? So, though he may have very deep feelings for you, now these are the other two cards. I was asked to remove 5, so I removed 5. Is that Priya, grow up from this situation? Flowering really means um, maturing, dropping what is not required, and just looking at things with a more practical way of being. I'm not going to judge the guy and say if he did this to one girl, he could do it to you and all that. No. But if somebody has to take a stand, they take a stand. They do not keep two people hanging. So if you're being in that position of being in the gray area, the breakthrough is within you. This was your last card, which says that you need to drop this. I know it sounds very simple and I make it look very casual, but drop it. If it's meant to come back, it will come back. But you don't have to be, you're not in an airport lounge key, if the plane will take off. Get out of the airport, you don't have a ticket, dude. When you have a ticket, you will be notified, you'll get an email. So don't wait in that space of will it happen, will it not happen? It's not happened so far means it's not happening. And I'm really sorry, but I don't think he's the one for you.
Super.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is that a lot of times in this modern dating world, there is also a way that one in the like there's no commitment. There are lots of fires burning, but the pot is not on one fire, so it keeps jumping. And either you got to be like okay with being one of the fires, or you got to become the pot.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're not going to be cooked, otherwise nothing's going to happen. And when I say you have to be okay with being one of the fires, I'm not asking you to drop your dignity here. I'm not saying do things that are not comfortable or go out of your space to be with a person or any of that. No. But I am saying that if people don't have take stock, if the guy doesn't commit to you very soon after you'll have started dating or whatever, and you are looking for a commitment, then move out of that situation. Don't expect the person to circumvent and come back to you, because you're not honoring yourself. If it's not matching what you want, please leave. There's so much dignity in leaving. There's no need to stay. And if it's meant to be, it will come back. I know of relationships that have come back after 7 years, after 19 years. And in fact, there was one client of mine, she was married. Her ex boyfriend was married. So they were college love mates. And they had to get married to different people because of caste. As luck would have it, they both got divorced at a later stage for different reasons, not because of each other. And then they came back together. So you have to know when to keep the hope going. Don't give up on yourself. What is in front of you, you have to take stock of that. Are there any other questions? Or we're done here?
There's one from Seema, who's asking, I want to know about my past relationship. It was a long distance relationship. We are not on talking terms at present. Is it worth waiting for him? Seema, date of birth, if possible.
It jumped out for you, Seema. So if there is no contact, I say drop it, because till there's contact, there is still communication, there is still hope. If there's no contact, drop it for now. It's not worth it. Don't waste your time on this.
Great. Thanks, Mamta. And I'll end now with one generic question, which would be for everyone. how can one understand the future of one's relationship through tarot? So how does it work? I think that's one.
It takes me back to the first answer, which is internal external makeup, along with the outcome. How do you decide the future? Now, as we know that planets have a huge influence on our lives, so sometimes those planets have, because we are beings on a planet, there are other planets, their frequency is going to affect us. There's no need to break your head, Vedic, Western, falana, believe what you want, but this is the truth. Mars's frequency is going to affect somebody walking the planet. Saturn is going to affect us. So this is what it is. Now, what happens is that it could be that somebody's planets are clashing. And that is detrimental to the future of the relationship. Depending on your tarot spread at that time, depending on your intent of where do you see the relationship going. Because a lot of times, if you do not want to make it work, it's not going to work. If you have the energy and you're still going to pretend like, oh, everything's hunky-dory, and you andar se don't want it, it's not going to work. It's going to be worse. So be clear inside as to what is the future you want to see. And in a couple, I think it's very essential to communicate, to make sure that your goals are the same. Are you looking at the same future? Because if your futures are looking different, then part ways as soon as you can.
Right.
There's no point living each other's life. And depending on where the planets are, one thing, also where you are in your inner journey. If you are somebody um, who needs an anchor, and your partner is a more strong personality, and you need to be led, then sometimes it's necessary to be led till you are okay to be on your own. So it's again, like we discussed, right? This is not something that can be based generically. It's your date of birth, it's who you are, and with me, it's what your energy is about.
Right.
And also where we are as an energetic place. So, yeah.
So, Mamta, thank you so much for taking these questions, for
Not at-
enlightening us about soulmates, for breaking these things down for us. Guys, I'm sorry, there were many questions which we couldn't get to, but we do have a time limit. Mamta has been very sweet enough to give us over an hour here.
No,
But,
that's okay.
on whatever platform you're on, check the chats. And you can connect with her online through our Thriive platform. And I'm sure she can help you a lot more, and you can go in detail. You have been very enlightening and very straightforward. Just loved how clearly you answered everything.
There's no other way. When you have clarity, everything's okay. Even if it's shit, if you're looking at shit, you know you're looking at shit. So let the veils drop. Don't be afraid. I mean, everybody here, don't be afraid. What are we mostly afraid of? Pain, of abandonment, of being on our own. When we came into this world, we came alone. And
Yeah.
when we go alone, why are we afraid to spend our life alone?
Right.
Why?
Exactly.
So,
And I think tarot is a superb guidance. It's
yeah.
not like a bad, like telling of your fates that, oh my God, nothing you ever want will ever work out. I think it is just about guidance in the next step. And tarot can give this to you very beautifully. And you must connect to Mamta or any other tarot reader and to get
Yes, absolutely.
answers in your life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pinky. It was lovely talking to you.
Lovely
Thank
talking
you.
to you. Thanks, Mamta. Bye.
Bye.